Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today I'm going to be making C3PO from Star Wars with you. And we're going to do it on a single loom. The arrows are facing towards you. If you don't have arrows, it's the open part of the peg that is facing towards you. We're going to be in an offset configuration, which means columns 1 and 3 are slightly lower than column 2. And we're going to be double banding, which means you take 2 bands and you place them across the pegs as if they were a single band. Now, C3PO does not have hair, so we're going to be using no hair at all for him, and our bands will go in place of that. We're going to be using gold, a couple of silver, couple of red, couple of blue, and a black band, and it's going to be very difficult to do sort of sunken down eyes, so what I'm actually using, these are a sort of creamy light yellow pony bead, and I'm going to use those instead. So let's get started. As I said, we're double banding. I'm using the rainbow braid bands today. I'm going to give those a try. I've liked them in the past, but these are their gold, and I've not used these before, so we will see what we think of them. They do stick together a bit in the packet, but that's not a problem. They still have a nice stretch to them. Without being excessively stretchy. I do hate those bands where they just won't stop stretching. So this is his face. Push everything down. Now I'm going to do a single band as a crossover, but I'm going to loop it into figure 8, loop it on itself to place across here, so that it sort of draws his head in. He's got quite a sort of narrow face, so I'm going to do the same above as well to draw his face in a bit. For his eyes, I'm going to use a single band, and I'm going to thread these on using my 2.75 crochet dude hook, like that. Okay, I'm going to pop that across here, and I'm going to lift this top part of the band up like that. Okay, I'm only going to use 2 bands for his neck because I'm going to be putting other bands around his neck, sort of as a like a kind of bracelet necklet thing. Okay, then we're going to move down to his shoulders, still double banding. If you feel that the bands are getting a bit twisted, just push your hook, twirl it around the inside of the bands, and they usually sort of untangle. These bands do feel a bit jellyish compared to the Rainbow Loom ones, but I'm not disliking them. And they do have some very good deals at the moment. Sometimes they do offers where it's you just pay the packaging and you get all these bands, 2,700 bands for free, and all you pay is the packaging, and that's fantastic. I'm going to just run my, these are the grey bands, silver, I'm sorry, not grey. If you don't have silver, you can use grey. So I'm just doing a line here of silver, and then back to the gold. push things down. At his leg area, I'm going to do a set of bands there, just 2, and another 2 here, trying to make it so they're not too twisted. And I'm going to put an end cap here, so take my hook, wrap it once and twice, and then just pop that on here as a little end cap. I'm going to push everything down. I do think these twist a little bit more, but I guess proof will be in the pudding when we take this off the loom and see how it looks. Okay, so let's do some arms. I'm going to take a single band, wrap it around your hook once and twice, and slide onto a pair of gold bands. And slide onto another pair of gold bands. Yeah, these are a little tricky to work with. Hopefully they'll have a nice result though. Okay, then we're going to take another single band and wrap it once and twice, and take a pair of bands and slide that on. I know this is a different way of doing arms, bear with me here. Take the first 2 from the first set up and over. It's like you're doing a foot, or one of my feet. The other side, swap places and reclaim the end of your bands. You've kind of made a little elbow joint there. Now we need 3 pair. So here's our first pair. Here's our second pair. See where the elbow joint is, just there? Yeah. And here's our third pair. Yeah, they sort of stick on each other. Trying to spread them out here. So there's our third pair. Reclaim the end of your bands, and that gets popped on the shoulder peg like so. And as I said, there's a little elbow joint that you can bend his arm with, like so. Let's do the next side. Single band, wrap it once and twice, slide onto a pair of bands, gold bands, and another pair. Oops. Okay, let's do our little hinge. So I need a single band, wrap it once and twice, and slide onto a pair. Take the first set that you made, the 2 bands that are closest, over and off, and swap sides with your peg, hook, and reclaim like that. get another pair. Slide on. Make sure that they're spread out. Another pair. And one more pair. And there we go, there's our little elbow joint there. We'll pop this on this arm here, or shoulder, like so. So we have kneecaps. He does have rather chunky little kneecaps. So what I'm going to do is take 2 bands, okay, 2 bands, wrap around once and twice, and I'm going to slide onto 2 bands like that. Okay, I'm going to move that, reclaim that down there like so. I'm going to do the same again. 2 bands, wrap once and twice. Get it out of the way of the other one. Take another 2 bands and slide on. Now, when we're ready, what we're going to do is slide these onto these bands here, but we're not ready for that yet. Okay, but this is what we're going to be using, which is exactly the same as how we make shoes. So we'll put our shoes on first. So we're going to take this one off, okay, and we'll do these as shoes, but we will not forget that we need to come back and do those for his kneecaps as well. Swap sides with your hook like so, and here's our first little shoe. Okay, take another pair, wrap it once and twice, slide onto a pair, these are kind of like working with jelly bands actually. Take another pair, wrap once and twice and slide on, throw on to the mat, slide on. The first set you made, take the ones closest to the end of the hook, up and over and onto those bands, and swap places on your hook, and then up and over. Grab the end of these bands, reclaim them, tilt the foot out, and it goes here. And here is your other little shoe, like that. Okay, let's do some crossover bands. We'll take the first one is going to be gold. We're going to just stretch it out and put it across these 3 pegs here. Then silver, we're going to use silver bands for the next 2, and you're going to take one, stretch it out, figure 8, loop it on itself, and this is to draw his waist in so that he looks thinner in the waist. Do the same for the next one, and for the one above here we're just going to do a normal band like so. Okay, we're going to loop slowly because, as I said, we have things to add. So pull the foot out and grab the 2 bottom bands and loop up. We'll do this on either side, and the next one. Now take 2 bands, wrap once and twice, and slide onto 2 bands. Okay, leave one side off. You're just going to hold it like this. 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands, and you're going to reclaim those 2 and then reclaim the other 2, and you can see they're going to sit like that, and these are going to be the nuts and bolts that are sort of sitting on his kneecap. So what we're going to do, where we have these, we've already looped this up, it's in a teardrop shape, we're going to lift them both up. We're going to slide these bands on to these like this. Keep this taut, don't let that go slack. Okay, once those have slid on, replace the 4 bands actually back onto here. Alright, like that. Let's do the same for the other side. 2 bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 bands, move that down into the middle, and you're just going to push that down the side of your hook here and leave this free. Another 2 bands, wrap once and twice, and you will slide onto another 2 bands like so. Reclaim the end of these bands, twist this one around the other side and reclaim the end of those bands, so you have all 4 like that. So you've got 2 in the middle and 2 on the outside. Then twist your loom around. We're going to go where we have the teardrop here, so it's the second set. Okay, you're going to grab all 4 of those bands, okay, and we're going to loop these over. Do not let this go slack, you want them all over like so, and then replace the bands on the peg like that. If this one's come off, that's fine, just poke it back on. There we go. And these can just be tilted around so that they're facing side by side like that. Okay, dig down. Let's lock these into place by grabbing the 2 bottom gold bands and looping up. They're now secure. Okay, we're going to do these ones next because these will then go on top. So dig down past that end cap and grab the 2 top bands. These are just like working with jelly bands. Which 2 are on the top? These 2 are my top ones. So let's grab them and pull to the side. Grab these ones and pull to the side. Grab these and move up. Now let's do these ones up and these ones up. Silver, push the crossover bands back with the back of your hook so that you're exposing just the 2 bottom bands. Okay, we have the arms, loop up, loop up from the shoulders to the neck. You're going to loop across. From the sternum up. Push everything down. Dig down, find those bottom two bands. Now, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Again, I'm putting some bands here. Now this time I'm going to use, they're a DIY gold band. And I'm going to take two of them, wrap my hook around, or wrap them around my hook, like that. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to slide those on, making sure that I do not drop those bands. Okay. So they're in place there. Dig down, find the top two bands, and loop across. Top two. And then the last set. If it's tight, which these ones I can see are, swivel your hook around the outside of the peg and it will loosen things up a bit. And then our lucky last. The reason I didn't put a band behind these ones, usually I do it to stop the eyeballs from sinking into the head. I really don't mind if the eyeballs do sink back for this particular figure. Okay, slide your hook out to one side of this peg here in the middle and pull these bands back up through, and one broke. Glad it broke now. That's our first broken band. Let's try that again. Dig down, out through the side, pop the bands on, pull through and out the back of this peg. Two closest to you go up, over and off, and we pull tight. We're ready to take this off the loom. And we shall see what we turn out with. It's amazing how different bands can give you different results. Stretch them into place. Okay, so here is our little guy. The bands will relax. They do relax after a while. I'm going to just push these under some of these bands that I have at the back here. Like that. I'm going to also draw some black dots on his eyes. Now to do the wires in his torso and also his mouth, I'm going to get a single band and cut one side, and I'm going to grab my hook and poke it through the back of him to the front and drag one part of the red cut band through, and then find a spot to drag it back through on the other side, like that. I'm going to tie this in a knot. And trim it. And you can pull that forward. And then I'm going to do the same with the blue band. Poke my hook where I would like that blue band to come through. Drag it back. Place my hook through again and completely miss the band. There we go. Drag that through here and again tie it in a knot. If I can, I need to borrow my little girl's tiny fingers. Okay, so there's my other wire that I have happening. If you want to put a few more, that's how you do it. To do his mouth, I'm not going to cut it, I'm just going to stab him through the face and grab one side and pull it through, and stab him through the face on the other side at about the same spot and pull it through like so. Now you could use a clip at the back here if you choose to, or you can tie it in a knot, whatever suits you best. I'm going to use a little clip. Like that, and actually I'm going to attach the end of these jelly bands to that clip as well, because they're not playing as nicely as the normal opaque bands do. And I'll give you a good example of how different bands can make a figure in 1 second. So there we have C3PO, and as I said, he's kind of been done in jelly bands. Well, here is one I made last night, and admittedly this was my prototype, and I did not do a double looped band for his face, which I should have done to make it thinner, which I think would have looked better. But you can see how he's much firmer and these are the rounded Rainbow Loom bands, but it gives you an idea of how different bands make a figure look different. Anyway, there you go, there's C3PO. I hope you enjoy making him. Take care.